Sorry, I think we went offline. I am just going to reconnect again. Hi guys. Sorry, I think we just ended our live, unfortunately, by mistake. Hi guys. I'm just waiting for ma'am to join again. Hi, I'm just waiting for ma'am to join. I'm sorry, Ankit, your question was really good. I was reading it out, but I think we disconnected in the middle. Um, just waiting for ma'am to join. Um, Ankit, if you want, you can join us on video and maybe you can address your question. Or maybe you can type down your question here. Sorry, guys, we're just waiting for Map to join. All right, okay. Sorry, guys. I think we might have to end right now. Um, Ankit, hi Aditi, welcome. We wait. I'm just gonna wait for ma'am for 1 more minute. She was trying to join again. Let me let me figure it out. We actually, this is a very interesting concept about kitsuki. Uh, if I'm pronouncing that right, this is one of the key, you know, concepts that we talk about when we're talking about maybe like preserving our own self while adding something and not removing the core of our existence, right? So this is something that is very interesting to me also. So I'm very excited for her to answer this question by Ankit. It's a very detailed question. So we're just waiting for her to join. Right. Ma'am, are you here? Uh, I guess she is not able to join. Give me another try. Let's do another try, guys. Just a second. Oh, she's here.
Hi.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I got dropped out. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. So Ankit's question, ma'am, is really really good. So I'm looking forward to actually uh, to see that. Shivani is back. Hi, Shivani.
Hi,
So
Shiva.
Ankit, can you please drop down your question here? Can you please drop that down in the comments or maybe in the question section if that's possible? Ma'am, he's saying that he can't wait to hear from you. That's really good.
Yes, but I don't see the question.
Right. The question actually, and I think he's typing it right now. But the question is about kitsuki. We were talking about that concept, right? About the pot with the Japanese concept about the pot and the
Ikagai.
gold leaf.
Ikagai.
Right. So it was
Yeah.
about that, but the way he framed it, it was very interesting. So I'm just waiting for him to join. Maybe like put down his question here. Okay, so Ankit, what you can do is right now I am drop it down. Uh, Wait, just a second. Drop it down to just I'm putting out a solution here. We're just waiting for him to do that. We only have two people right now. So hi, Aditi. Thank you for joining in. I think a lot of people left after the technical fail.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
It's
be able to
okay.
figure
It's
it out
okay.
next time.
They got all that and more that we had planned for. So
Right, absolutely. So, ma'am, I think we should be doing this again, right? Because
yeah.
right. So because I think the amount of response that we received this time, and a lot of people have a lot of queries. So maybe we can do this again. Maybe we
Sure.
can brush up on the concepts that we missed before.
Sure.
Ankit's question is he says that my question is regarding the concept of another very famous Japanese practice, kitsuki, which talks about repairing broken pottery with gold leaf to produce something more valuable and beautiful than the original piece. And I often correlate this theory with my life as well. When life is not
Beautiful.
giving you what you aspire for, or the uncertainty of something shakes you to the core, then how you cope up with the challenge or the failure, and how do you identify the golden leaves to repair the broken aspirations and recreate new paths to success? Wow, very
So
well put.
I'm so stroked by your question and your insight,
Right.
simply because the book that I wrote, the person who wrote the afterword, the foreword for me, has
Mhm.
mentioned that this book is like that.
Wow.
So he has
Okay.
mentioned that, and the book is all about that. Like I told you, Ankit, that it's all about looking yourself in the whole. And if you look at my white hair, I love it. And it was just before COVID. I started letting go and making it white,
Mm.
and not just my folks. You name it, my closest of friends. You name every single person has been telling me, demotivating me against it. But I find myself more beautiful this way. I don't know what it is about
Mm.
me, right? So I think it's about how you look yourself. So I don't know whether Ankit you asked or somebody else who said, "Na external pressures." If I can look within, I will only see beauty, right?
Right.
So that Japanese technique is about that. It's about, can you bring that pieces together and weave it with the golden? Because what is that golden lining? It is the scars. It is the
Mm.
scars which make me so powerful. If I see a bullet scar in a man, I say, wow, right? Right? So where am I going against my scars?
Mm.
Right? And that's what the Japanese technique is, and that's what the whole book is about. The whole process is all about, you know, that storm that makes it look like a demon, but is actually a golden thread.
Right.
So thanks for
So
bringing that up.
something that is I also wanted to be answered, which is that he says that how do you identify the broken leaves to repair the broken aspirations? So
So
I
what
so
Yeah. So what I mentioned to Kanika, right, who was the earlier person who had asked a question about her feeling,
right.
and first I made her to identify that feeling, She was talking about stressing based on the expectations. And I said, what is that feeling? Identify what is making you stress. So she said, feeling low. Again, that's not really 100% knocking to your feelings. Knock at the door of the feeling and say, what is that word? By saying you're feeling low, you're still making it distance and making it easy on yourself. You have to look at the storm in the eye or to feel it. So when you say I'm feeling sad, that's the word. I'm feeling terribly sad. It's probably even closer, right? And when you say that, you start feeling crying. Let it come out. Let it come out because that's the only way you're going to empty it and fill something new with it, right? So then we have something shadow work. We have something called parts work, which is explained in the book, not theoretically. It shows the protagonist doing it for herself. Right? How do you talk to different parts of yourself? So there is a sad part. Listen to it. There is a wise part. There is a very happy. There's a part which wants to be happy. Ask what makes you happy. It'll tell you. And these are all parts which has grown. Psychic parts. बोलते हैं. As we grow, we have our extra grape cells forming. Right? Those are psychic parts, and they have all the answers, right? So, Ankit, the answer to your question is they're all inside. You just have to sit with it. Lot of times you may not be able to do it by yourself in the beginning. I used to go for therapy in 2010 for myself, and that's when I realized the power of it, and I fell in love with it. And I am, of course, my personality type is all about healing people, so I went into it, and now I'm able to do it. And I took years of help in that, like a lot of self courses, a lot of sessions where we, get habituated to doing it ourselves. And now because I do it for others, for me, it becomes practice what you preach, right? So I've practiced and it becomes easy on me. But still, there are times I need my peers to help me because there are times it is so bad that I need my peers and we do cross coaching.
Right.
So Ankit, initially if you feel you need help, please ask for it. It's okay. And the few sessions where you get tools, then you can go ahead and do it yourself.
Right. Aditi also has a very good question. It's long, but it's something which is also of great significance to, I think, Ankit and me as well. She says that, ma'am, I had a question. We get to hear, and in our limited time working as interns, have experienced a lot of senior lawyers and judges being harsh towards juniors. When I know that one should focus. While I know that one should ignore and focus on being better and not take it too hard, it can sometimes be too hard to do so. Or she says that, are there mechanisms you can suggest to not let these things affect you? So this is about seniors being harsh on juniors.
So can I have a name again?
Aditi.
Aditi. Lovely question, Aditi. And there are 3 reasons for this. First, let's get to the reasons. Like I told you, remember, I've not written it. Muskan, the steps that I said, right? First, identify the feeling. First, identify the situation, identify your feelings and emotions, identify what is triggering you in those feelings and emotions, and then, hence, what is that I need to shift. There are 4 layers to it, right? So first is that situation you said. Let's say the situation where the senior, many times senior, if it's a male, it doesn't trigger us. Sometimes it's a female, it triggers us. Sometimes it's a male, it triggers us. So you need to understand what is the trigger. Situation बोला आपने, ठीक है? उसमें trigger क्या? What is that is creating that trigger? What is triggering me into that reaction and then feeling hurt, feeling embarrassed, feeling humiliated, or whatever it is that you're feeling, right? You need to understand that also. Many times this comes from certain authoritative figures in our lives, the way they treated us and the way the child thought. The whole thing is there in my book actually. The way the child thought, कि oh, इसका मतलब ये है, so then I will be docile. Then I will not be hurt. Some other child took it in a different way. In fact, in my house we are twins. Both of us took it different ways. I took it as a rebel. No, I will shout it out. I will demand more. He kind of became docile. So every child is a different way of reacting to a situation. But that becomes a pattern and that becomes a belief कि ऐसे लोग ऐसे करते हैं. They are doing to hurt us. So I'm just giving you very generic right now, Aditi. But identifying the trigger is also important, because हम trigger को identify नहीं करेंगे ना, future में भी आज कैसे तो मैंने handle कर दिया because अमृता ने मेरे को technique बोला, ठीक है? But tomorrow again we'll come across that similar situation, again we'll get triggered, not realizing subconsciously क्या create कर रहा है वो, right? So there are a lot of terms the child, so that the child doesn't get hurt and hurt and hurt every time, उसको कहीं तो दबा के रख दिया अंदर subconscious में. So that is a way of protection that the child couldn't cope any other way. तो उसने devise किया. Now that we are elder, we are able to do it. But to see the art of listening to our body. A body gives you all the answers. It's subconscious is our body. It's stored in the body. So what is that? Which person? What kind of person is triggering you? What kind of words are triggering you? Right? What kind of situations is triggering you? For example, if that same person screams at you individually, you may not get triggered. If the person screams at you in front of people, it might get triggered. I'm just giving you some examples here, right? So we need to understand कि वो क्या है जो अंदर से आ रहा है बाहर, right? Some message is coming up. हम लोग सुनते नहीं हैं. So there is you need to sit, meditate, listen to the parts. A couple of times you need help to understand how to do it. But once you do it, maybe you can read the books. There are a lot of books which offer that. Even my book tells you there's some methods in terms of how the protagonist did it. You can listen, read that and try to do it yourself. Sometimes doing it, let me be very candid, sometimes doing it yourself can be difficult. Because आप पहली बार कर रहे हो तो कुछ तो अरे I can't handle this हो जाता है, right? वो fear unreal है and you really get triggered with that fear. And that is why you need somebody to sit with you, say, it's okay, I'm there to hold you, don't worry. Right? And that's the role of us. Now, the other point that I wanted to make is this one angle to it. The other angle is that, wanting external focus, right? What is that they are saying and wanting to feel belonged, because of which what they say hurts you.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, the elders who you were very small and growing, there are very critical elders, right? Sometimes. But why are they critical? Maybe they really wanted you to fly. I do not. I want to say it in a very subtle way. I don't want to be revealing too much information. But I know someone who also mollycoddled their child so much that the child didn't know how to fly. He didn't know how to handle the storms outside. It hurt. It couldn't. And that is why sometimes our elders really try to push us. And as a coach, we do that. There are times I tell my coach, I'm going to push you. You need to sit with the emotions. You need to sit. You cannot run away with the emotions. I want it. So we do that, right? So sometimes seniors, so it depends on your belief pattern, Aditi. If your belief is coming from, ye mere ko humiliate karne ko kar raha hai, this person is not being good to me, then you'll get triggered. But if I come from a new belief that this person is there trying to teach me something, what am I not listening? The whole thing shifts. Now it's easier said than done, no? But the belief shift will happen only if I process the shit inside. So there is some belief key. For example, I'll say that there was there's this person who aunt of mine who couldn't handle my white hair. Okay, and every time we would meet, she would come up with a topic. I don't know. And one fine day, she also said something to the effect of, it's what if your husband gets affected by it? But that's very personal statement, right? The earlier Amrita would have gotten triggered at how dare she cross my boundary. And I would, I would come from that space as a rebel because for me, it used to be a trigger with somebody at home, not giving me my freedom. So my personality type is all about freedom. Autonomy is very important for me. It's number one value. So for me, the trigger was, constraining me is a trigger, big time trigger. So the earlier Amrita would kind of given back or something or sulked or whatever, oscillating to. This time I just laughed because I could also see the other angle of her. Maybe there is some insecurity there for her. See, we need to understand it's about them. End of the day, it's not about us,
It's not
right?
about us. Totally,
And with
totally.
my twinkle in my eye, with a twinkle in my eye, I said, "Why do I remind you of your age?"
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay.
She's never, since it's been 2 years, she's never gotten back with that statement again.
Wow, that's
She's never
brilliant.
said about
And these
my
are
house
this is
again.
these type of people have to know, like, something that I also explored in myself is that these type of responses, they do not come with any skill or any practice or any sort of way. The thing that you feel about yourself from the inside translates into these words
Yes,
and
yes,
these trigger situations, these impulse situations.
yes.
All of this really works out for
And
you,
that is why,
ma'am.
Muskan,
This
you need time for it. You need time to
absolutely,
process that, get used to that new
absolutely,
you,
and somebody
unused to the
and
triggers.
somebody like ma'am, you need somebody like ma'am to process this. So Ankit also says that I completely agree with Aditi's concern. I
Of course,
think we
warning, you can't use this technique with your teacher there. Huh?
right,
But
absolutely.
you see the point. What I was trying to make here is, आपका जो belief है, you will operate from that perspective. If
Right,
your belief is different, you will operate from a different perspective. So if your belief is
right.
she's telling me for a reason, there is something that this is a challenge that Ericson mentioned. Erik Ericson is a psychologist at 8 stages, right? This is one of those stages in your life which is all about growth, learning, prospering, exploring. This is
Hmm,
your stage. If you
totally.
don't use the stage for this purpose,
Hmm,
you will get stuck.
right, absolutely.
Your
So
identity, finding your footing, all of this comes in your this stage of your life. So
right,
when somebody says that, your lecturer or somebody says that, use this things that I told you, this phase, exploring, finding footing, identifying growth,
hmm,
ensuring that I can, stand up from now on. Use this kind of belief, and automatically you will say, okay, iska matlab kya hai? Okay, let me see what I can do and let me show it to her next time, right?
hmm,
You will automatically not feel that unless and until there is an agenda that this person doesn't like you and hence they do the insults, which happens. You'll go to
right,
corporate world to see that. I had
hmm,
don't even talk to me about it. I've had those issues. So
right,
so then that's a different way of dealing with it. So again, the
right,
same thing. Logic is same. Yeah, आपके belief के ऊपर होता है. So here the belief will be that this is not about me. She is
hmm,
not insulting me because I am bad. She's
right,
insulting me because she's got some stuff to process. I
right,
remind her of
absolutely.
someone or something. I don't know.
Right, right, absolutely.
And even
So
that
these
is there
are
in my book.
these
Even that
tips.
is there in my book.
Right. That these I'm telling you, ma'am, you are a person who is the human embodiment of a toolbox who can help people,
I
give
wish
tools, and so I
then
really
I wouldn't need help as well, right?
I think we are all human.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
These are the words. These are the words by ma'am on this session. I hope all of you enjoyed this session today. And since we are not left with a few more people, I hope people can get back to the archive of this live and they can check this video out.
Beautiful.
I think we will be. So Ankit has a lot of questions. He will be texting you privately and
Definitely.
addressing
And
you.
I would suggest all of you right now there, of course, please pass this reel to as many people you can. Let it
Right,
spread
right.
whatever
Right.
information they
You
can.
can even as a even share ma'am's profile. Uh, no, Ankit, that's completely okay. So even ma'am's profile, maybe you can forward it to your friends in case they need any help. I can give you a personal guarantee from my side. Ma'am is a full, package deal when it comes to solving your issues, and she's enthusiastic and she's helpful, which are two
There's
of the best
one,
things
there's
that you can
one,
help.
there's one statutory warning to what you just said, Muskan, is and this was a reel that I saw a couple of days back. We see a lot of reels in Insta, right?
Right.
Which rang very true, which is a fact, is that uh, change, the therapists can't change people. The change
Right.
happens from the client itself. If the
Absolutely.
client is motivated and willing to stay in the storm and handle it, hota hai. I'll tell you why,
Mhm.
because this was the last client that I had recently, really. I mean, for me as an individual, I feel sad when it cuts off. But he refused to process it further, and he did not come
Mhm.
after the initial 3 4 days. He was actually opening up, and he was finding it so empowering. But
Mhm.
because of the anxiety attack was so high,
Mhm.
and it happens when you start opening up, na,
Mhm.
there are two personalities coming up. So then the clash keeps happening, and you start, so it's like somebody explained. So you're in the low, you're used to that low, you're used to that low. When you start rising, you start getting wanting that rising 24 by 7, which is impossible. Like, for
Mhm.
example, after our session, I'm going to feel tired, I'm going to lie down. I cannot be energetic all the time. But
Mhm.
you will start
Right.
craving for that dopamine, all of those good feelings. And so when you're feeling low next time, you start feeling really bad. You're like, I'm not going to get out of it. I'm not going. You start stuck, so you start oscillating, and that is where you have to tell yourself that next is to go. Hang on there. It'll be get better. It'll get better, right? And that is where some of the clients may just back off because the personal will is not there. So the change can happen only by the client. Therapist is there to hold you and be there for
It's
you. That's a
basically like a
strategy
catalyst,
warning for you.
right?
Strategy warning for you. Okay.
Right, love that. Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today for this session. I cannot believe that this session was so helpful for me as well as the audience. And I did not preempt this before, asking you to join for this. But I'm very happy that
I'm
you encouraged me
glad.
by
I'm glad.
joining this session. And thank you so much for everyone who was there for the previous session and this session. Please drop in. Oh, Ankit is saying that it was a great session, very engaging too. I hope to attend more sessions that
Thanks a
actually
lot.
help deal with daily issues in personal and professional life. And Shivani has given us 2 hearts. So sweet of
Shivani, you
both
are
of
waking squad, by the way.
us. Right. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. Please revert all your queries to ma'am and on her personal. Follow her right now, and you can connect with her.
Thank
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good
you.
evening and good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.